when I step out of my own imagination and involve my imagination in what I'm being presented with by media, I go insane. Like it's painful. It's painful to live in lies, to be lied to be mocked by so many people who aren't afraid of throwing away humanity for terrorism of the mind, day in and day out. Nothing is more difficult than a person with feelings has to go through, is feeling what is going on. I literally feel it on my body. And I know other people are the same. It's so hard to stay in your own mind during this transition. I'm not in the right frame of mind tonight to do a video. And I don't know why. I started to write today in my blog. If you want to see my blog, it is at mindmiracleshypnotherapy.com. All one word, mindmiracleshypnotherapy.com. And I did the draft. Basically, it's lessons of the heart is what I'm writing today. And how my imagination was filled in 2016 with amazing stories, an amazing experience. And I couldn't believe it. I was back on Earth here and I'm in this world and this just does not seem to be right. But between being poisoned in the mind and poisoned by radiation, because that's what it is. Radiation is killing us, it's causing cancer, it's giving other symptoms, it's decaying our immunity system, is 5G. And then when you have metal in your body on top of that, the symptoms could be worse. But some people aren't having any physical symptoms at all because they're robots. And they don't think like anything to do with the truth. Because if they did, they would suffer. People who think the truth are suffering. I did a video last night, in the middle of the night. And I woke up this morning and I saw it had like 20 views and only 1 like. And I went, oh my God, what is this? And I deleted it because obviously it wasn't taken well. But that might be just my sensitivities and I don't even know what I said. I think I was talking about recovery of the imagination. Be free to fantasize in your own imagination about how you would want it. How do you want to feel with your loved ones? How do you want to see the end work out here? What would be your dream? And my dream would be that my family would come together. But they can't. They're the judge. They're the judge of me, my father, and my son. And they won't hear any of it, when you think you're working for God and you whip people into shape with your judgments, you're crazy. You're crazy. Because the judge is the blindest soul on earth. They're actually looking into their own selves. And the more contempt people have for me, and trust me, lots of contempt my way, the harder they must be, the harder of heart. Because if anybody in my family looked back at my actions, they would see my love, my generosity, and my support in every turn. Somehow that's all gone, not remembered. The word got involved after my mother died, and money was involved, and it was easier to keep the story of my mother going. And she had disinherited me, and to make themselves feel better, and to keep the money free of guilt and shame, they make up stories in their head. Well, Mom didn't love her, so she's a shithead, and they can't really say why. My sister said she had a letter from me to my mother, which fully explains why I was cut out of the will and family. And that's all she says to people, too. I have a letter. I have that letter. I have the letter Cheryl sent to Mom. And it's horrible. Horrible! Well, my letter was about my dad and how she demonized me for taking care of him at his end. He died on World Compassion Day, December 10th, 2007. And nobody showed up but me. They judged him. But all of my cousins and my nieces loved my dad when they were children, as much as I did. He was the candy man. He was the one that brought Cracker Jacks. And they'd all remember that if I could talk to them. But as they grow older, they become what their parents are, judges. And they forget the feeling around my dad. He was safe. Nobody was unsafe around my dad with his candy. And I remember Jewel, one of my cousins, just adoring my dad. I saw a picture of them recently, and I thought, where did that love go? Where does love go when judgment hits? So I was writing the blog, and I got myself depressed. So I entered into the imagination of them as I was writing, and I've got to tell you that we are telepathic, and judgment is felt. People can feel what you think of them, if it's harsh or if it's love. They will know. And I know. Not only do I know, it's all I've had. It's just stones thrown on me. That's how my body feels. Remember I told you I'd been sick and it felt like my bones were broken? It's judgment. It's judgment. And people are afraid of the truth. And so they make an even bigger imagination to justify what they do to others. Their ripple effect. We all carry a ripple effect. My ripple effect should be awesome. Like, awesome. But it is not that way. My ripple effect is I am shit, I did nothing, I've been a loser, I didn't do anything. Like, for instance, my nieces, each one of them, when they turned 16, I took them out for a fine dining experience in a high-rise restaurant in Vancouver, and to a facial and shopping trip in Gastown. Each of them, when they were 16, got that from me. I got that from one of my aunts, the one that jumped out of her window when she was 65. When she was in a residential home for depression and fed 20 different types of drugs, she finally jumped. But that's the aunt when I was 16. She took me to Pacific Center. She got me a facial, and I couldn't believe what I saw in front of me. She made me see myself beautiful. And I'd never seen myself beautiful before that. And so I wanted to pay that forward and do that to my nieces. Not one of them can stand me, especially the one that became an elementary school teacher. She doesn't know me at all outside of somebody else's word. She doesn't know. And it's a heartbreaker for me to sit here in Quebec and try to continue to fight for my family in writing blogs, in doing videos, because I never get anything back. I never get anything back. To feed me, you know what I mean? Like, how can I express love when I've got nothing but pain and bruises all over me? How can I express love? I promised I would be open and honest in my videos and share from my heart. And it's a risk because my heart only speaks of the truth. And if people are unwilling or unable to see it, then they'll watch their movie and come right back here. But I'm leaving. I'm leaving alone. And I don't want to. I would have a better movie if what I was saying worked. You know? But artificial intelligence keeps me down. It keeps me from being seen anywhere. And I get trolls on my channels where they take away likes or they take away views so that people think I'm just some nut bar sitting here. And they just make sure, you know, you've got your other guys like Alex Jones who calls himself banned, or censored. All these guys with thousands of subscribers claiming to be victims. Do you know how hard that is for me sitting here with 650 subscribers? When I've worked so hard from my heart. So I'm running out of energy is what I'm saying. I'm running out of energy. I'm running out of fucks to give. Really, I am. That's the truth. I'm running out of the willingness to express love here. I say that through my own imagination, my own guides, my own knowing and reality. I say that and not allow myself to be drained of my love and slapped in the face for my love and lied about for my love. No. I'm losing the will to give a shit, guys. There is a lot of people that are just going about their daily lives as if nothing's wrong. And it trips me up, right? I go, what? Maybe I could be that. Maybe I could be happy with all these groups of people and doing that, diving in the ocean and skiing on the mountain again and dancing at the, festival. I don't have that in me. I don't have the ability to play like that when I know what our government is doing to our minds using the media and education. I can't. Like, once it's there, right? Like, that was over for me. There was no more party. The party was over in 2016 for me. Suddenly, eternity mattered. Suddenly, eternity with my son and my father and my mother mattered. It never mattered before. In ego, we live in a fantasy. In heart, we live in a dream. And you have a dream. And even if I was told today, even if I only get one good thing done, that's all I need. That's all I need. I don't have to keep trying. You don't have to keep trying either. You're banging your heads against the wall if you're trying to get people to love you. I said I would share what is going on with me so that, because you know what, my friends, we are one. Yeah, at the end of the day, we're all Christ. We're all flames of Christ, and we all know it at the end of the day. And we see our movies. It's supposed to be we wake up when we cross over and we see our dream. We live our dream in our memories, in our emotional memories. We live our dream that we had here on planet Paradise. But the dream here that people are living through is a nightmare. And if they're not living a nightmare, they're creating the nightmare for others. People with money aren't living a nightmare. Well, not outwardly anyway. I say they are in their, I bet when I hung around the rich and I saw how miserable they were. My husband's rich and he's miserable. And, so money is not buying happiness, but to the viewer, to the family, it looks like he's happy. I see him in a boat there. I see him in his house on the ocean. He's a very happy man. And they glom over to that and they say, well, you think positive. Cheryl doesn't. And it's living with these knowings that defeats me sometimes. That it feels hopeless, I know at the end of the day it's not. And I know at the end of the day I'm going to love my movie. I know that. But meanwhile, I'm still ego here. I still have to live in the imagination here that has been presented to humanity as if it's real and true. So, I really hope that this next few weeks, while we may have casualties galore, it's my wish that the right people are taken and the others are left to wake up to the Christ within, and we can fulfill our dream from our hearts here on earth instead of the fantasy from our minds that we've been manifesting on behalf of Hollywood. When we focus on something and get stuck, it's very hard to break away. Very hard. Very hard to erase your left brain. I have done it. It's hard. You don't get along with anybody anymore, and people see you as the enemy. And you have feelings, and that hurts, and that's me, and that's many of my subscribers are hurting too. So if people have to be up for you, I saw somebody doing a talk about spirituality or whatever, and she kept talking about, well, you got to raise your vibration, raise your vibration. What the hell does that mean in reality? And then I listened to a song earlier, a happy French song came on, and I remember feeling, oh, my heart's starting to feel good. And I actually started dancing a bit when I heard this song. So I went to look for the lyrics of that French song. I had no idea what it was saying. I can't speak French. And I can't remember it all now, but it was basically, so you only love me for my pretty eyes. I couldn't believe what I saw, because I do have pretty eyes. And, you know, it's a fantasy, though, when people don't see beyond the pretty eyes. But I'll go back to say that my vibration was raised with that song for some reason, and it was the music that raised my vibration. So I'm asking you, if you want to, I guess if raising the vibration, I think is important to do so. Use music that makes you feel good, not bad. Use music, even if they're, if you have to find instruments with no lyrics, because the word is shit anyway around here, and it gets your imagination in wrong places. But maybe if you listen to instrumentals without, instrumentals that please you and your heart and your senses. I know a lot of instrumentals don't do that at all, but there are many that can. Doing what I can to lift my own spirit is what I do day in and day out. I play with art. I play with the xylophone. I listen to music. And I feed my soul. Is that what's going to happen? What do you think? Is God coming and taking out the ones who don't care about Christ? Is this the judgment time? Do we get another chance? That's what people are saying. I don't know, scriptures too are saying that. But I don't trust any scriptures. I don't trust any people. So I have to go by my own feelings and my own imagination. And to me, that is the ideal scenario, is that people have lived generation after generation as shitheads, beating up their families, living by the word, judging, fearing, or instilling fear. That maybe time's up. Maybe it's time you get out of here. Because this is no longer a place we can call paradise. It's nothing I can be proud of at all when I see the majority, either on one side of a political spectrum or the other. One side is going to save them or the other. And it's constant back and forth hatred of the other. They're all evil. Anybody in media is a learned crisis actor, and they don't have anything to offer your soul but an invitation to hell with them forever. We have to stand alone. We have to stand up or risk being stuck with them forever. Am I just babbling, guys? I don't feel like I'm making a lot of sense, so I'm going to just shut it down and tell you that I care about my subscribers and I wish I could do better. I wish I could give you a good fluffy answer that'll make you feel good forever. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to repair the reputation of the meek, the ones the judges created, like my father, my son, and myself. That's why I'm here. And it's done with love. It's done with the love of Christ. Children, I love. And it's not here. I've never felt it, other than from my son and my father in whatever way he could share his love. I felt it when I was a child. And that's all that matters. Remember how you felt about people when you were a child. You know, beautiful. Ask your children, did they always have these feelings for you? Did they always judge you? Ask them to go back and remember a time when they did love you and see if they remember. Because that's real. That part is real. Everything since then, what they learned, how to consider family toxic, or if mother makes a mistake, she's out. You know, that's how they're training children, to treat their parents. My granddaughter, oh, she's the worst. Treats me like garbage, and she's greedy and she's just terrible. She looks like me, but she's nothing like me in the heart. Nothing. So she's nothing like Christ. Somehow she was either traumatized out of it, like so many other children are traumatized out of the Christ flame. But she'll go back to that. She'll see in 360 degree, people will watch their movie and see their ripple effect. They'll see how they affected their most treasured loved ones. And that's hell. That's the dream of hell when you die. And that's why people are either forced or choose to come back and make another go of it. But no, we know now, no, it's not going to happen here until the evil is wiped off earth. That's the only way. So when I see, I'm going to change my perception about China. And if that dam bursts and they all go, I'm not going to cry. And Maui, where I was in the early 90s, I went there for my training at Hyatt Regency. I was the employment manager at Hyatt Regency, Vancouver. And there I was in Maui, Lahaina, and it's a cesspool of wealth and bullshit. So that's how I'm going to think from now on. I'm not going to pour my emotions and soul into losses, because I do believe God's in charge. I do believe in the power of Christ who works through people, believe it or not. So I'm going to trust that. It's a start. So, this is the book I was talking about. That one is a very thin book, easy to read, and he goes into detail about earthbound spirits and what he saw in his near-death experience. And I encourage anybody who has, things to resolve them and save yourself the hell that's depicted in that book, and that I know my son was going through when he crossed over and could see everything. And he had learned from Gary, or maybe he just learned to hate me, but I was in a medical situation once. I was at a wedding, and I had an ectopic pregnancy. Trevor was 12, and I was trying to get pregnant again. And the ectopic pregnancy blew up in my tubes. Actually, I'd already had the surgery, but they left a portion of the fetus in me, and it continued to grow, and it blew up in me in Cranbrook at my brother's wedding. And there I was, squirming around on the bathroom floor of the hotel, unable to move. And Gary came in and called me pathetic. He told Trevor I was drunk the night before. And I probably did, right? But that was a misjudgment, and Trevor picked up on it. You fucking assholes, what you're doing to mothers with your judgments. I hope you go. I hope you go.